This is Dave with DavesTR4A again. I just wanted to make a quick video to expand on my most recent video on my purchase of the Quickjack lifts for the car. This applies to just my experience here and getting the things lined up under the car. So the biggest thing you have to pay attention to is, other than the fact that you get it all assembled correctly, is to just follow the instructions. They're pretty complete, and there's, like I said on my other video, there's probably 50 how-to videos on guys that have bought these jacks and put them together. It's basically just assembling the couplings onto the hoses is the biggest deal, and then you have to bleed the whole system. But the reason I'm making this video is to go over the alignment of the Quickjacks under the car. And again, this is just my experience, and it relates to a TR4. I guess it could be a TR4A through a TR6 that has the independent rear suspension. So let me just show you what I got here. So when these have the ball bearings underneath or ball rollers underneath the Quickjacks. And they're very easy to move around with these. You need to do that. The ball rollers are like $2 a piece, and you need 3 per jack, so you need a total of 6. And then what I do is I'll have this is the long hose. I keep that connected to the jack for now, and it just makes it easier to fish everything back to the pump once I get the jacks in the car. So this piece of plywood now, this comes as part of the shipping material, and basically they put one of these on either side of the top and the bottom of the Quickjack to kind of protect it from shipping damage. But it works out great for a alignment tool. So it's like 12 inches wide, and it fits between the front and the back wheel on the car, and I'll show you that here in just a second. But I'm going to get these underneath the car and show you what I use for contact points for these plastic blocks here that come with the kit. I'm using the I believe these are the short ones. I can't remember. I think they're the short ones. But you get a short one and a tall one, and this one works fine for my car. So let me start getting these under the car, and we'll continue on here. The thing is, you want to make sure that the handle or the jacking lock thing is on the outside. So there is a right and a left. So basically, what I do is I make sure that the end with the label on it here is on the front. So that's another thing to be mindful of. Okay, so what I do first is, after I get the 2 jacks under the car, I'll align the plywood to where it's just in line with like the edge of the tire in the front and the back. So that gives me about a 12-inch offset for the jacks under the car. So let me show you you can see the block right here, and this is the part of the chassis that the swing arm's attached to. So see if I can get the light on a little bit. Yeah, there we go. You can see that the block is kind of centered underneath the that cross member on the chassis. Now let's go to the front. Here's the front. I'm holding the light with one hand and the camera in the other, so I can't really point, but you can see the block there, and then there's the chassis. So it's just going to come up right underneath the chassis there with the front block. So that's about it. And again, like I said, this piece of wood works pretty well to get them centered up and parallel on the chassis, and then parallel to each other. So and you can see up farther. Well, wait a minute. There's the oil, the bottom of the aluminum oil pan. You can see. So it's pretty much the engine is exposed. The bottom of the engine is exposed pretty well. So, and the transmission and everything. So the front's in pretty good shape then for working on the motor from underneath. On the driver's side, here's the front. It's The front pad is directly underneath the front part of the chassis there, and it's just south of the, in relation to the motor, it's just south of the oil pan. It's right underneath the connection for the brake lines, if you know what that is. So, looking down from the top. So, anyway, let's go back and look at the back. Here's a look at the back. I kind of have a hand free. There's the block, and then here's the cross member for the swing arm to connect to. And it's so I can get down lower here. It's gonna pretty much hit right in the center of that, so we're okay there. And then I have the oil lines in the back there. I have to run those back to the oil lines are back there. I'll get a shot of those where I'm hooking them up to the pump, and then we should be ready to lift. Okay, so I just have to hook up the two lines to the pump. Doesn't really matter which one goes where. So it just pushes on. There we go. And then you turn that to lock it, and that's it. Okay, we're going to raise it up. We're going to raise it up. Okay, so that's on the first jack, or first stop. Okay, so if you disregard the oily, filthy mess here from my leaking seal on the pulley, which is up there in the dark somewhere, you can see this is just on the first stop on the jacks, which I think is plenty good enough. I don't want to have to reach for stuff, but you can see in the back there, well here, this is looking back towards the back of the car. I probably have about, I don't know, 1.5 feet or so between the stands there, and you can see it's sitting right on the chassis frame there, and right on the chassis frame there. So I'm in good shape there, and it's rock solid too. So apologize for how filthy it is here. That's going to be cleaned up before this car goes back on the ground. So anyway, my first task is to drain the oil and pull the oil pan, and we're going to take a look at replacing that oil pump with this upgraded one. So, but anyway, this is for you, Chef Tush, so you can see how much room there is underneath here. You know what? I'm going to go get a tape measure just to see. So at the first stop, which I believe is 17 inches or something like, I don't know. I forget what they said the spec was, but anyway, from my oil pan, the aluminum oil pan, to the ground is 10.5 plus 3.5, so that's 14 inches of ground clearance between the oil pan and the ground. So that's going to be plenty to be able to replace the oil pump. So, and plus I'll have some time here to clean up all this oil and grunge and crap that's underneath the bottom of the car. So anyway, I guess I better get to it, but I just wanted to kind of give a second set of thoughts on the Quickjack. So, and to me, it's well worth the money to have a tool like this that you can work at your leisure in your own garage. To even if you just want to clean up the bottom of your car and get to that pesky U-joint Zerk fitting that's on the front of the drive shaft. It's perfect. So anyway, that's all I wanted to mention today. Thanks again for watching the video, and we'll talk to you soon. Here's another view, just to give you a point of reference. My creeper fits between the jack stands, so I can go like all the way back to, I could go underneath the whole car in the middle, so there's pretty much nothing I can't get to with this, which is really nice. That's it for now. Please like and subscribe.